What's up, everyone? JP here. In this session, we are going to discuss video streaming trends in broadcasting with Bitmovin. Welcome to another JP's Chalk Talk episode. On this channel, we talk about connecting, streaming, and delivering with experts, tech, and more in webcasting or live streaming setups. So whether you're new to webcasting or a seasoned veteran in the live online video streaming world, the goal of this channel is to collaborate, learn, and share in the broader community together. Please make sure to hit the like button if you find today's video useful. Okay, let's jump to it. We've seen a lot of growth in trends over the past 2 years when it comes to online video streaming, especially for online broadcasters in various markets and those new to the space. The technologies used in software and hardware and how our audience engages online in a live event is key to how we manage and deliver a good digital experience. So how do we track these winds of change and learn and grow? In 2021, a video developer report from a company called Bitmovin markets and creates video solutions themselves, published a survey gathering feedback from online video streaming community to share, such as what's important to them to drive their production efforts. What are the trends developing with online audiences connecting and watching via compute devices or set-top boxes or other platforms, to call out a few examples? We're going to learn more about Bitmovin as a company, cover a few highlights of the report, and more. Let's jump over and chat with Igor from Bitmovin, who's head of solutions. Well, Igor, it's great to have you with us today. Thank you for joining.
Pleasure to be here.
Maybe just take a moment just to quickly introduce yourself for the audience, to a little bit of your background.
Sure, happy to do that. So I lead the team at Bitmovin that does all of our customer-facing technical work. We call it the solutions team. So we help our prospective customers understand products. We help our customers, once they sign, to implement, deploy those products, create great video streaming services, and then we continue to provide technical support in perpetuity.
Well, thank you. So Bitmovin's been around for a while now. Maybe just a little bit of the background story of Bitmovin as a company and kind of its focus in the industry from a live streaming or professional broadcasting type, solution.
Sure. Yeah. So Bitmovin came into existence in 2013. The company was really came out of research, academic research, and standardization. It was founded by two postgrad students, Stefan Leder and Chris Mueller, who also co-created the MPEG- standard. And that innovation and R&D continues to this day. We collaborate with a number of PhD students coming out of effectively a research lab from the University of Klagenfurt in Austria. And that's called the Athena project. We've got more than 40 patents under our belt, and really the company at this point is almost 170 employees. We've got over 400 customers, and we provide best-of-breed tools to video streaming service providers in the space. And those tools are an encoder, a player, and then measurement and analytics solution.
Yeah, it's kind of a really rich portfolio of the various solutions, kind of your focus that you mentioned in your role and kind of the team. So that's kind of leading to our next part of our topic. One of the areas that Bitmovin has made an investment of time and resources and publishing is kind of, I call it a video trend, kind of where things are going in the state of the industry, but it's a developer's video report that you publish each year that kind of gives a kind of what's the state of the industry, the customers, the findings, and one was just recently published last year. So maybe just a little bit of a background about that.
Sure. So this is our 5th year that we're doing this annual survey. We call it the Bitmovin Video Developer Report. As you said, the last one was published at the end of last year in 21, and we surveyed over 500 video developers and industry experts around the world. 65 different countries are represented. The idea of the report is it's a we survey everyone and we ask everything about from challenges to new project initiatives, video workflows, what's changing, and we really try to draw insights from that data because it's really comprehensive sample and gives us some really deep insights about what is happening in the video streaming industry. Of course, this is an industry that's still evolving. It's been evolving really since the advent of the iPhone and continues to do so with a lot of changes happening every single year. So we're very proud of providing this report back to the industry. And we feel it's got a lot of really useful data points and insights for everyone.
Absolutely. And I've, coming from my perspective as an operator and a professional on the broadcasting side and supporting some of these and leveraging platforms like Bitmovin, it's been a very helpful report to kind of see the survey and see some of the feedback that you guys get. One of the interesting parts you brought up was about the growth that we have seen over the past couple of years now, and we continue to see the growth. And that was interesting on some of the report highlights some of the challenges, innovation and workflows. But one of the parts of the feedback of the report was the customers coming in saying, delivering better value with controlled cost, right, when it comes to implementing these solutions.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of there's been a bit of a shift in the responses this year. Controlling cost is still number two challenge for folks. Number one challenge for the first time this year is live low latency. But also number three challenge is playback on all devices. So if you kind of take those top three and put them together, really what you're saying is, or what our respondents have said is, we still want to control costs, but we want broader reach across more devices, and we want improved functionality such as live low latency delivery.
Absolutely, and I think that's key. We know low latency has been a very highly discussed topic over the past several years now, and that continues to be used. And so we kind of talked about the devices, and another part of the report it talked about device fragmentation, right? With the growth and the number of devices being used to access live or playback type content that's encoded, such as set-top type TV boxes. It was interesting in that report there was a lot of kind of in different markets, so to speak, of the fragmentation of various devices that are being used.
Yeah, the devices are growing, right? The number of new devices that are coming to market which support video streaming over the internet has been increasing. It increases every year. The sort of makes and models and versions of devices are, there's just more and more of them. So when you look at the combination of hardware, firmware, and streaming standards supported across the universe of devices, there are just so many devices, and we have they do vary by market. So the devices that our customers see in Latin America, for example, are very different from devices seen in Europe or in Asia Pacific regions. And so what that means is, depending on where you're operating or plan to launch a video streaming service, you really need to have a broad range of support for these different devices. And that support starts with content preparation, right? You have to create streams that are going to be compatible with your target devices. And also on the client side, you have to build apps that leverage video players or media players that are capable of playing back those streams on those devices. And then you add the complexity of things like DRM, which means not every DRM method is supported on every platform and not with every stream. And so there's this really a lot of complexity in doing something that's intuitively simple, playing video on a device. And there's a lot of complexity just in that. And that's kind of your table stakes, right? You have to, if you're going to operate a video streaming service, you need to be able to offer playing video on a device. But then you also have to add features. And what we're seeing is there's a higher demand for new features, more complex features that all these devices have to support, which boils down to again another sort of order of magnitude complication factor for video streaming operator. And so those are the challenges. The good news is there are solutions out in market that can address those challenges, right? They're tools that are tailor-made to prepare the content, play the content, and measure audience engagement of that content across your universe of devices, across your universe of users. And those tools are growing with the demands of the market.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that kind of as you mentioned, the complexity and kind of optimizing it, right, and understanding and building a plan around the solution. Now, this is kind of an area that Bitmovin has kind of made an investment in terms of helping provide your customers and others when it comes to commercial encoding, right? When we're talking about the delivery of these type of video content on demand or live,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a part of it, for me, for the audience to understand and how Bitmovin is optimizing that process to help, maybe reduce that complexity, right, as part of the workflow.
Yeah, so because of the complexity, you're right, John. We need to adjust workflows to meet the demands of the market. And so, for example, the Bitmovin encoder is adjusting in a way that helps to control the cost of creating the streams themselves, but also to add new functionality. So, for example, our encoder supports CMAP low latency to address the low latency needs in the market, but at the same time also provides per title technology and 3-pass encoding technology to reduce the file sizes while keeping the quality the same or better than the alternatives. And so we're always working to provide those new features with the intent of controlling costs, because those costs are ballooning. You have more usage, which means more delivery costs to your CDN, more storage costs to your cloud providers. And at the same time, you have to support the new features. And so that's really our goal in market, is to focus on improving feature functionality, but also maintaining the operational costs for this infrastructure.
Absolutely. No, I think that, the report really provides a lot of information, and thank you for sharing that, because I think that's important for people to understand, is that, this is an area that, Bitmovin can assist in terms of your own solutions and helping provide some of that, workflow support. And I think that's a fantastic opportunity for folks to really kind of take advantage of, right? And do that. And so, and kind of go in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you look back at the report, there's a whole section of video workflows, and we talk about also different deployment models that are used by the survey respondents. There's hardware only encoders that's still happening, but it's decreasing. It's decreased in this last survey. Software, on-prem software encoding services, that's increased. So more folks are deploying software encoders on-prem. Cloud-based software encoders, that's also increasing. We definitely see this big move to cloud services, and sometimes that's managed solutions, meaning folks are buying a commercial encoder like the Bitmovin encoder or others, which operate entirely in the cloud infrastructure environment, or they are deploying their own open source based encoders into cloud infrastructure. And I think the advent of cloud and the move to cloud has really we see it taken off in the last couple of years for encoding services because now there's enough compute available in cloud to do that. And cloud offers a lot of flexibility and resiliency also in the way that you deploy these services. And so I would say that's kind of the biggest finding is the move to cloud. And then the other interesting thing is, open source encoders like FFmpeg have been quite popular over the years, right? Software-based encode, and a lot of that is seemingly a no-cost solution. However, it's one thing to encode one video with FFmpeg and do it in the cloud. That's awesome. That's great. But how do you scale that to hundreds or thousands of videos? And how do you do all the orchestration and scheduling of that kind of workload, prioritization of that workload? And that's really where the commercial encoders come in. They've really done a nice job at scaling encoding services in the cloud. And when you look at the survey, we started asking this question about commercial versus open source in 2020, and so compared to last year, we're seeing that the move from open source to commercial is happening. We see a 4% gain of commercial encoders used by survey respondents. So there is this move away from open source because it's too complicated to manage your own open source based encoding farm in the cloud.
Yeah, I think that was actually, I'm glad you kind of brought that point up, because I think that was very interesting, right? Was the commercial encoding aspect of it, right? And encoders, because typically most people have kind of gone the route of self-built type process, developing their own environment, right? But it becomes more involved and costly from an operational cost. And there's other complexities that you can kind of enter into that. So that was an interesting part of the survey. I thought that as you bring that up, that absolutely.
Yeah, and not only is it operational cost, but you have to maintain that encoding farm, right? And you have to add new features to it. What happens when you have to add the next codec? Because we're also seeing in the survey responses, we're seeing a continued move away from H.264 AVC encoding to H.265H AVC, but now more than ever, AV1. We're seeing a bigger move to VP9. We're seeing upcoming codecs like VVC, EVC, LC-EVC. I mean, there's so many new codecs that are coming to market. And they all have their use cases. Right. Gone are the days where you just use AVC codec for all of your outputs and call it a day. You have to optimize, and you have to do that to improve quality of experience for viewers, but also to leverage the innovations and manage your cost as the scale of distribution of content over the internet continues to increase. And it takes, again, a lot of capital investment to develop support for those codecs, to develop new features in your encoder. And I think that's why we're seeing the shift towards commercial encoding. The survey responders said 54% of the responses say they're using a commercial encoder today, and that's up by 4% from last year.
Wow. Well, I know we've kind of maybe skim the surface, so to speak, because there's a lot of details in the report, and so I'm going to encourage everybody. I'm going to put a link in the description to go register and download this report. I think you'll find it very interesting, and I know I did, and I appreciate Igor, you and the team and everybody at Bitmovin for the investment you guys make to produce this, because I think it's extremely helpful. Number one, and two, it's beneficial to help kind of maybe make better decisions, more informed decisions in looking at where things are at, and absolutely, talk to you guys at Bitmovin too, where you can help assist the customers along with your current customer base with various workflows to support what their needs might be.
Yeah, and happy to do that. The report does provide a lot of insights on its own, and I think it's pretty straightforward and intuitive. However, if help is needed to sort of interpret or read between the lines about any of the findings in the report, we're happy to help with consultation there.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. This has been fantastic. I'm looking forward to the next report. And I just want to wish you all the best and for this year, as we know things continue to grow and develop, and you guys do great things.
Sounds good. Thanks, John. And just a plug for the next report, we'll probably be getting it out, the next survey out into the community late summer of 2022, great. So just in a few months. And we look forward to even more responses this year. It's really valuable to kind of get this information, put it all together, and we're very proud to present it back to the community this year and in the years to come.
I want to thank Igor for his time and contribution in this session, along with Bitmovin. I hope it was informative and helpful for you. Now, there will be a link in the description to the full report on Bitmovin's website. You can register and download to review yourself in what we covered in this session. Please share your comments and feedback. It helps in the development of sessions and algorithms in the YouTube World Rankings and other platforms. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. If this video was helpful, please like and share. Stay safe, stay well, and talk with you in the next session.